What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello and welcome. My name is Carly. I am a labor and postpartum doula, and I create content all about pregnancy and labor and motherhood and pretty much everything that falls in between. And this is a part 2 of a 2-part series that I've made about baby names that I love, but am probably not going to be using for this baby right here. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, I have it linked up here for you so you can go and check it out. It is all 10 of my favorite names that are more feminine, kind of leaning towards the girl side. We did find out that the biological sex of this baby is a girl, so we are more focused on those names, but I also wanted to make a video with my top 10 favorite, more masculine boy names that are still pretty neutral, but tend to be a little bit more masculine in what I would probably name if we were having a boy. So if you haven't seen part 1, go check it out and then come and watch this video. And if you aren't yet already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you as a part of this empowering community, and give this video a thumbs up if you love baby name videos. I could watch these all day long and I absolutely love them. So give it a thumbs up so that other people who are looking for fun and unique, earthy, kind of nature-inspired names can find this video as well. But let's go ahead and jump straight into the names because I have a list of names that I absolutely adore. So for starters, we have a almost 2-year-old son. His name is Wilder Moon. And when I was pregnant with him, I have a couple of names in here that I was convinced that I was gonna name him. But then I had him, I met him, I was holding him, and like one of the first thoughts that I thought was like, oh no, you are not this, you're something else. So we have to figure out what that name is. But that name that I love, that for the longest time we were calling Wilder, is the name Jasper. I think Jasper is such a good name for a boy. I have a very intimate relationship with the stone Jasper, and I just felt like it was the perfect name for who my baby now, Wilder. I just really thought his name was gonna be Jasper, but then as soon as I saw him, I was like, you are not a Jasper, but I still love the name Jasper. I don't have a lot of names that I love that start with J, and I just think Jasper is super, like I think it's a good balance of femininity and masculinity, and it also has that earthy element to it, kind of connecting me back to that crystal that I really love. And I just think it would wear really nicely throughout like childhood and into adulthood. I think Jasper is a very like powerful, rooted, grounded name, and I think like the symbolism behind the crystal is very appropriate for like the kind of message you want to send to your kids too. And I was just in love with it. We didn't end up going with it, but it's still one of my favorite names. The next name that I love that we are also, it was at the very beginning of my pregnancy that we thought we were gonna use for Wilder, and that is the name Sullivan. And I think Sullivan is such a powerful, just like solid name. I don't know a ton of people named Sullivan, and I absolutely love the nickname Sully. I think Sully is so freaking cute, especially for a little boy. And Sullivan, obviously, like very powerful, can grow into adulthood super easily and not be like too out there. Which is ultimately why I didn't choose it, right? Why we felt like it wasn't quite the right name. Just because it doesn't have that like earthy element to it or that nature-inspired element, which we really liked and wanted to incorporate into Wilder's name. But I think Sullivan is a really good name. If you like something that's a little bit more traditional, a little bit more wearable, but still like cute and unique and not super common, I think Sullivan is such a good name. I think Sullivan could be a really good name for a girl too, and I think a little girl named Sully would be so cute. Our last name is Watson, so Sullivan Watson is kind of like, it sounds good, but it's almost a little too much. Like it's a little too much mouthfeel. So Sullivan Watson didn't totally sit right with me, but I do really love the name Sullivan. Okay, the next name I love for a boy, and might use for a boy, honestly, if we have another baby and it's a boy, is Sterling. I think Sterling is so pretty. It has that femininity to it, and just kind of like on the mouth feels very feminine, but it's also kind of grounded and rooted in like a masculine way. And I think any names that start with ST tend to be a little bit more grounded, but I just think Sterling is so nice for a boy, and again, has that longevity to it, can grow into adulthood. The lighting is driving me up the wall. Sun is going in and out of the clouds, and it is killing my lighting, but I think Sterling is so pretty, and I would totally consider it for a boy if we have a boy in the future. I also think sterling could be really pretty for a girl too. For some reason, I like the way it wears for a boy a little bit more, but it's definitely one of those neutral names that I think could go either way. The next name I love is the name Berry. I think Berry is such a good earthy, nature-inspired name. I think it could wear well on anybody. I think Berry is one of those names that just kind of like, oh, it's just cute but still kind of powerful. And again, it's just like, I really like names that have that balance of being like a little feminine to the mouthfeel but like grounded in a really nice like masculine way. And when I say feminine and masculine, I just mean like actually how it sounds coming out of your mouth and kind of like the look of the letters. I know masculinity and femininity you don't really associate with like letters, but each letter is very, you know, masculine and feminine in and of itself, and Berry just has like a good overall tone of being very well balanced, and I love that it's kind of nature inspired too and very unique. I don't know a lot of people named Berry, so I think Berry could be a really good name either way. The next name again that I love that's kind of like rooted in nature and has like a really nice mouthfeel is Sage. Sage is one of those names that's been very popular lately too, and I think Sage could be a good middle name also, but Sage has been rising on the baby name charts, and I think for a good reason. It's just like classy but still a little unique and has that like nature feel to it. There is something about the name Sage that just like speaks to my heart, and I absolutely adore it. Again, if you watched my first video, you'll know that I tend to like names that have a couple of syllables to it or like a little bit longer, but I think Sage is really, really nice, especially on a boy. I think Sage, I don't know, there's just something about it that I love. The next name that I think is so cute for either a boy or a girl, but I think I would probably lean more towards boy, is Murphy. I love surnames as first names, like Murphy and Kennedy. I think those are two such good names for first names, and I would totally consider either one of those for another boy if we had one. It's kind of missing out on that like nature element and feeling a little earthy, but there's something about the surnames that I think is a little unique, and not a ton of people have them as a first name. It's usually their last name, but Murphy and Kennedy, both of those just like have good mouthfeel. I think would age really well and are just like very wearable and just like good, solid, like, I don't know, feminine yet masculine names that I just think would be so cute as a first name. So this next one, I mentioned it in part one that I don't love months as names except for one, and I have one exception, and it's the name August. I think August is so pretty, and especially for a boy, it can go either way, of course, but I really like the name August for a boy. I think August is, I don't know, there's something about it that is just kind of like romantic. And again, I just like the names that have that dichotomy to it of being masculine and feminine. And August feels like it's very like heavy and grounded and rooted, but also has this like whimsiness to it of being like August. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I really love the name August. The next one is kind of funny. And again, kind of with the surname thing, I love the name Carlisle. And if you are around the same age as me, I know exactly who you thought of first, and that is the dad in Twilight. And that's the only person I've ever known who's named Carlisle. And so that in and of itself kind of keeps me from wanting to name my kid Carlisle, but I think Carlisle is so good. It just has this like beautiful flow to it. Carlisle is just like very whimsy, but still solid and powerful and grounded and just all the same words that I keep using, but very unique. I don't know anybody else named Carlisle other than the character from Twilight, and I just think it is a really nice name that would wear well and age well. And again, a reason that I probably wouldn't use it is because it doesn't have that nature element to it, but it's still one of those names that I really am drawn to and enjoy. The next name that I absolutely adore is Sandy. I think Sandy is such a good name, and it has the nature element, it has that femininity to it, but again, like sand in and of itself feels like a very masculine name, but then like adding the E to the end, Sandy, makes it very feminine and just kind of like whimsical and a little ethereal and earthy, and I just think it's so cute. Drew and I are both kind of like fair skin with blonde hair, or sorry, blue eyes and like, you know, kind of blonde hair. And I just think Sandy for a little boy who, if looked like Wilder, I think Sandy would be so, so cute. And then the last name that I love is Leo. Leo is one of those names that I would use probably more likely as a middle name. It tends to be that the names that are just like a little short, like I like a couple of syllables for a first name and then a shorter name for the middle one, like Wilder Moon. I think Leo is such a good name and would make a really, really good middle name, but I also would consider it for a first name. I just think it's like one of those names that just wears well and has that like tie to astrology and is kind of feminine, but just, I just love it. I think it sounds really, really nice too. And it's not super popular. Obviously, like Leonardo DiCaprio, everyone calls him Leo. That's like a big person named Leo. But I don't think it's like rising on the charts by any means. And I don't think it's something that's like going up in popularity. It's one of those names that's just kind of always existed. But I personally don't know too many people named Leo, but I would definitely consider it for a middle name still, but probably not a first name. But I do love that name. But that does it for all of the names that I like for a more masculine or boy-focused name. Leave me a comment down below and let me know which names you love that are a little bit more masculine or for a boy. I am always looking for ideas. Like I said, we're having a girl, but I'm still always open to hearing names that are a little bit more neutral, but just like sound a little masculine. You know, I'm always down to consider like any name. So leave me a comment down below and let me know what your favorites are. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you as a part of this empowering community, and give this video a big thumbs up if you have enjoyed it so that other people who are looking for names for their babies can find this video as well. And I will see you guys in next week's video.